Hi, this is Van of Between Two Trains. As we head into the holiday season, I want to thank you for listening to our show in 2018. We have heard from some great entrepreneurs, and we have an exciting lineup already beginning in 2019. Now, today's episode was done on location at the Mad Italian restaurant during lunch, so there is some background noise. But the interview was great, as our guest Tom Brown got emotional telling his 3-decade story. And if you like this or any of our other episodes, tell your friends and give us a like on our Facebook page.
Hi, my name is Theo, and you are listening to Between Two Trains. We bring you the best and brightest entrepreneurs in the North DeKalb area on the 1st and 15th of every month. Today, your co-hosts are Van Pappas and Eric Most. And now, Between Two Trains.
All right, welcome to another edition of Between Two Trains. I'm your host, Van Pappas, and today we get out of the studios, our beautiful studios at 3411 Co-working. We come out of the studios, we go on the road. To my right, I have my co-host, Eric Moss. Eric, welcome back again.
Hello.
Another episode of Between Two Trains. And today we are at the beautiful new location of Mad Italian, right here on Savoy. Eric, you've been here before, right?
It looks awesome. At least once a month, I'm getting the Big Daddy.
Yeah.
And happy to be here.
Well, I want to introduce our two guests today. We have the owner and entrepreneur, Tom Brown from Mad Italian, and the manager of Mad Italian, Shannon Mothershed. Welcome both of y'all to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Tom, let's start off with a little history. Mad Italian started in the 70s?
1973.
73. And so, obviously, you were not that old in 1973. How were you involved at all that far back, or when did you come into the picture?
I started with the company in 1982.
Okay.
Actually at the Windy Hill store.
Okay.
As a cook, cook and a busboy, and worked my way through. And a few months later, I started managing, and then a few months after that, I was able to take on my first store and just work my way that way.
So when you took over that first store, you were in a management role, or you had some kind of ownership?
Just management. 21 years old, I guess. So got to manage my first store, and then 1995, some things happened, and I was able to make an offer to the original owners, Bob Liberto and Lee Tyler, and take over operations of the company. And here we are a few years later.
So that was, you said 95?
1995. Yeah.
All right. So in 95, there was how many locations?
95, there were 3 locations.
Okay.
4. I thought 4.
No, because we opened up the Windward store and the East Piedmont store, which brought it around. So in 1995, there was the Peachtree store, Windy Hill store, and the Savoy Drive store. And 1997, after the Olympics opened up, we closed the Peachtree store, and that left us with 2. And then in 2006, several years later, we decided to try another spurt of growth, and we opened up 2 new stores, one in East Cobb, East Piedmont, and then one in Alpharetta off of Windward Parkway. And then the economy happened, 2008, which was just devastating. We signed high rents in both locations that we thought were fantastic locations. They had great visibility, easy access, in and out, that type of stuff. And they're beautiful locations, but the rent just was not generous at all. So it was closing those stores to maintain where we are. So we closed both of the new locations. They were there for like 3 years, and then we closed the Windy Hill store. The shopping center was on its way out anyway, so it just kind of worked out that store was going to be gone. So
out of those 4 stores, you determined that the most profitable, the best one to keep was
the thing is
Savoy?
Savoy Drive.
Savoy's always been.
We took over the original Savoy store was an old Dairy Queen that we took over that had been abandoned, I think 6 to 8 months the store was open. And it's always been the top performer in any of the Mad Italian histories of any of the stores we have. The mural that's behind you there shows you, we paid a little homage to all of the locations that we had. But it's always been the top performer. And that was probably the biggest reason why we decided to.
That's okay.
Biggest reason why we decided to keep the Savoy store open, because it was definitely the main guy.
So as an entrepreneur, one of the things I'm always interested in is listening to someone who's now, you're a seasoned business owner. You've had it now for 20, 30 years, and run it even longer than that. So how challenging was it in 2007, 2008 when you had to make those decisions to
a lot of tears.
A lot of tears?
Yeah, a lot of tears. It's wow.
we got him emotional.
Yeah,
right?
no, you do grow attached to people that work for you, or your staff, and to the next day they come up to you and you're like, you don't have a job. That's tough. So you try to bring the ones in that you can, and then you just have to let them go.
It's clearly touching to you. So we'll reverse gears, and instead of talking about the failures or the pullbacks, talk about what successes you've had. This is a long time business, and one of the successes I feel like is we've just recently moved into a new location, and I think it's a beautiful new location. I'm very impressed with it. You want to talk a little bit about?
We took over. Again, this was an abandoned building too, right?
Boarded up.
Boarded up. I mean,
probably. When you came in the first time, what'd you see? Rats and
no, there was no rats.
No hobos.
No, there was no rats.
Any hobos living in there?
There might have. Yes. There were some tenants that we had to take care of.
You were nice to them.
We were very nice to them.
You gave them a cheesesteak, right?
Yes, we fed them, clothed them, and moved them on.
Yeah.
The place was just absolutely disgusting. We took over. We bought the building in 2016, and through a lot of discussions and a lot of planning. And I know people
Very hard work.
People say they hate these chairs, but you know how many how many chairs we sat our butts in to try to find one that was comfortable, that was. I don't know. At any rate, so I want
to add, how long did it take you to pick these chairs?
We went,
because people, I think the common person doesn't understand, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, all those little details that people spend time and energy agonizing over.
We went to several furniture places for restaurant furnitures and sat and talked, and we brought in coffee and we sat at tables and tried different tables.
Different chairs for 6 hours?
No, one day it was like 6-hour discussion on furniture.
At the furniture store.
At the
restaurant furniture place. And it's trying different ones and moving them around and seeing how that feels. And actually, sitting back, putting your feet up and seeing, is this comfortable? Can you sit there and do this for a while? And not that people come in the restaurant and they hang out for 2 or 3 hours, but some do, and you want to make it comfortable for those people. So it's a huge process. And to say that we took the building over in 2016 and everybody's asking, well, why is it taking so long? Why is it taking so long? I mean, to sit on and just choose.
We gutted everything. There's 2 original walls, right? That's it.
Yeah, this painted wall
and the outside shell, and then 2 walls inside, and everything else is
brand new.
New floors, new plumbing, new electrical.
A lot of trips to Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Yeah. So there was a lot of discussion went into it, and one of the things is that Matatine, I really like. I think his name is Tom McCain. Tom McCain. He does a food blog, and he called the Matatine a hole in the wall, and
the old building.
The old building is a hole in the wall. And that's really a compliment, I think, really, is that you go to places that, those mom and pop places that are, you might want to call them kind of grunge, if you will. But
like Fat Matt's in Midtown.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're right. You go there because you're comfortable. You go there because you know the meal's going to be good. You go there because you know the staff's going to be friendly and people are just going to take care of you. They make you feel like you're part of the family. You're not just somebody coming through the door. You're part of the family. And I think that's one of the things we try to make sure we were going to capture coming from an old Mad Italian to a new Mad Italian. That place down the street, it had carpeting for years. And you just don't go to most restaurants nowadays and find carpeting, right?
Right.
So, but it is one of those, it's one of those comfort parts. And the floor made it's a big discussion for us for the floor. And
I love them.
I think we captured some industrial parts, and we captured some warmth, and that was just what we were going for. So
I think we sat at every table in here too, going, "Are you comfortable here? Are you comfortable here?"
A lot went in to try to make sure that we made people comfortable when they came through the door. That they feel like they're that warmth and it being that place where we want to come and sit and have a couple beers and eat a cheesesteak.
It's such a cool perspective because you've worked essentially all four corners of the restaurant, being a chef, being a manager, kind of operationally, front of house.
Don't forget the bathrooms and taking out trash,
Janitorial.
and washing dishes.
Busing.
Yeah, we do that too.
So I can see how you were intentionally slow to make sure that you got this, the way you wanted it. From that perspective, I mean, what were some of the, in addition to the chairs, what were some of the things that your everyday customer wouldn't realize, poured into this, that was heavy on your mind and heart?
What's funny is that I woke up one evening and as we did the design, and I told you that morning, I was like, I know it seems stupid, but where are the trash cans going to go?
Yeah.
And people, you don't think of stuff like that, but there's placements where you need stuff like that, right? And people they just assume, but
we also woke up in the middle of the night with the best ideas ever, dreaming about, I know now. I know where we should put this or do that, so.
Well, I know the building is beautiful and the design and a lot of care has gone into it. One of the things I think that makes you successful besides this building is really what draws people to you, which is the food. And, there's no doubt that you serve a great, meal. The selection is great. The menu is great. But I know at the old building, one of the problems was you had a tiny little bar. You could fit like 3 people at the bar, and that was about it.
Yeah, 4 if you didn't mind touching the other person's elbow.
Right. So, talk a little bit about that, because now we got, this really great big bar, and it's something that the area doesn't really have, is a place where, I can go and get a great meal, but maybe I just want to watch some sports and sit at the bar.
Van, that was part of the discussions too, is coming into this place. If you were in here as the Malones, knowing it from Malones, you remember the configuration up there, and it was very closed in. It was very bulky. It was very heavy going into that room.
And separate. Everything was very separate. Yeah.
So stripping the room down and going to the ceiling and making it very high and industrial and opening it up and giving it this larger than life feeling, really, right? But also is because Mad Italians, we've always been a family restaurant, and we didn't want to take away and make you feel like you were, and I don't want to talk about the other places, but you don't want to go in there and feel like you're in a bar, right? But you do want to have those moments where if the adults want to sit around and watch sports and have that time, we have the 2 different areas where families can go over here. One of the discussions that came from the old Mad Italian is that years and years ago, we were going to put TVs in the main dining area. And we asked the guests what they would like. And the majority of the people were like, please don't put TVs in the main dining area.
It feels like a sports bar then.
When we come in here, we want to just be able to have a family and have a meal. And the bar area, we decided to try to capture some of that for those people that do want to come in and watch some sports or watch just a TV program. We've for giggles, we've talked about doing, help me out, the Walking Dead on Sunday nights and stuff, just for those,
viewing parties.
Viewing parties situation.
Parties.
Yeah, I remember
doing little things like that.
I remember way back in the day, bars and restaurants would do that with Melrose Plays.
Yeah.
Were you one of those?
What restaurant was it?
I remember my wife used to say, "Oh, come on, we got to go whatever night it was."
Somewhere on Peachtree.
McNeely's and McNally's, they're down there on Peachtree Street that everybody used to go.
I think the flow and the design, you did a great job, because you did open it up so you do have the area where the families can sit and sort of be away from that, but at the same time, it still feels open where they're part of it. So yeah, and then obviously the third piece to that trifecta is the deck. You had not a really big deck before at the old place, and now that you've got this big area, are you finding that useful, or that really hasn't come into play yet?
Hasn't come into play yet. And we're really excited to see where that's going to take us for other events. Yeah,
well, it's almost a blessing we moved here when we did, because we're already packing the place, and so it's a little chillier. And by the time spring rolls around, we'll have our kinks worked out, and then we can have, you know what I mean? It'll be.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the packing place. So I know it's only been a couple of weeks, but have you seen an increase in revenue because you can get more people? Or talk a little bit about the finances of it.
Yeah. We are, packing the place. Yeah, it's crazy. The two dining rooms actually seat less than what's down at the other store.
Really?
And I think with the seating configuration and the parking makes a big difference. So we went from 30 parking spots to 65 parking spots. So that makes a little bit of a difference to that. But yeah, the revenue is up.
The event room is an overflow also.
Yeah, so yeah, with the event room and the patio out there, we'll seat 200 people. But just the main dining room and the bar area, we seat less in those two rooms than we did at the old Matatine. But I think the parking lot is one of the things that makes a difference for us as far as being able to pack the place. People have not trying to find a place around the hair cutters over there or down at the mobile to try to figure out where they're going to park.
With these additional parking spaces, do you find that your parking lot is still more people coming?
Yeah.
It's jam packed. Yeah,
I came one night and I was like, I had to do a circle.
I drove around 3 times.
Yeah.
To try to find a spot, and I knew I was going to make the customer behind me mad, but it was like, I got to get in there and help. So I took the parking spot, and I know I felt really bad about it, but I'm sorry, I got to get in there and cook a little bit. So
you don't have any relationship with the Taco Bell next door?
I did talk to Taco Bell, and the rumor is over the years that they're just going to tag you and tow you right off the bat. And I talked to the managers over there, and they were anticipating us taking a little bit of the parking, and they're fine with that now, but we're still going to encourage our customers not to park over there. Just to be a neighbor, and same thing with the winery. Matt had already said that he thought that people were going to come over there. Just try to be mindful as far as his rush hour times go too, and not impede on his parking. So again, we talked to the customers.
Everybody's been very polite, neighborly, And
I think that's one of the things is that you got to be with your neighbors, because my customers are their customers. And there's no reason to try to.
Our employees are talking about customers. I mean, we probably increase business double.
They don't eat here. They go across the street. Well, they go next door.
I mean, we all eat here too, but we all want our bean burrito. You know what I mean? Like, now that we're just to get away for a second.
Or even a little further over at La Batana.
Yeah. See, now it's a comfortable place to go sit and have a beer and some chips. Yeah.
Great day. They have a great day.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah. Not today though. It's chilly. I'm not doing it today.
That's the only problem with the deck.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk for a second about something that I found out that you're involved with, which is the Fight for the Girls.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about how that came about.
Can I tell it? Do you mind? Because I'm crying.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to make Tom. We've already made Tom cry once. I don't want to be known as the host that makes his guests cry.
Right. Okay, so we do a lot of involvement with schools, spirit nights, and that's how we sort of do our marketing. A long time ago, I told Tom I think it's better to do marketing in the community than put our name in a magazine, right? We're a mom and pop, like one shop. So we do all the local schools and this and that. So spirit nights, and this girl, Charlie, years ago, emailed us and asked if we would do a spirit night for her so she could walk with her mom on this 2-day walk for breast cancer team, where all the proceeds stay in Georgia, right? And she wanted us to raise like $200. This was 7 years ago, right? Because she was 16. Anyways, and she was in high school. She only had to raise like $250. She was going to be a Sunday walker or something. So Tom and I do the marketing here as well. So we sat and talked about it one day, and I said, let's surprise her and do circles on the walls and T-shirts and, make it a really bigger deal than she's expecting, and then do 2-day fundraiser and 2-day spirit night days. instead of just one spirit night for the 2-day walk, right? And do a silent auction, this and that. So anyways, at the end of it all, we raised $4,200
for the first year.
Yeah, and she was expecting about 200. So it was a huge ordeal, which that in turn they changed their name of their team from the Sponge Boobs to the Mad Girls and invited us to walk, and we've been involved ever since. And we raised close to $70,000 for them.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I've walked 7 years. You've walked 5, and we are very close to all these amazing people. We have a lot of survivors on our team, and all the proceeds stay in Georgia. There's only 4 people that make money in their office. Everybody else is volunteer, and they rely on people like us to do their marketing for them. So it's been a really amazing experience for us. So.
It all started through the high school.
Through a girl named Charlie that we adore. That's not a girl anymore. She's a Georgia Tech graduate. And,
They're good customers. They've been coming to Manhattan for a lot of years.
Since she was little, yeah.
And I think part of the catalyst was that we do spirit nights for the local schools.
Yeah.
And that was her idea, is that, well, if I can get you to do just a small fundraiser for me, it would help. Because you have to raise $1,000 to walk.
But not hers, because she was just a Sunday walker. So she just wanted to raise a couple hundred before she went to summer camp that year.
And it turned into $70,000.
7 years later, I've walked over 200 miles. It's pretty cool.
I mean, the thing is cancer hits.
Yeah. Everybody, right?
Yeah.
Cancer affects everyone. So yeah. So it's the journey.
Well, we're going to turn this conversation to something fun. If you've never listened to the show before, we do a segment after the break called Hot or Not. We are going to quiz you and ask you some things about being an entrepreneur, and you have to tell us whether it's a hot thing to do or not such a hot thing. So we will come to you with Tom Brown and Shannon Mothershed from Mad Italian right after the break.
Looking for an affordable, functional, and creative space to work? Check out 3411 Co-working in downtown Chamblee. They have flexible month-to-month office space options that include fiber internet, meeting rooms, printing, coffee, snacks, and networking events. 3411 Co-working is the perfect place for entrepreneurs, remote workers, and small business owners looking for a one-stop shop for your professional needs. Stop by for a tour Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and see how 3411 Co-working can work for you.
All right, welcome back to Between Two Trains. We are with Tom and Shannon from Mad Italian, and we are going to play our Hot or Not section. So, Eric, why don't you take the first one?
Awesome. Some may call me a subject matter expert in this area. But Tom, Sharon, IPAs, hot or not?
Hot.
IPAs are hot. Tom's shaking his head. We're not getting a
I'm
response.
going to say depending on the time of the year.
Why?
Depending on the time of the year. Well,
Do you not personally like an IPA?
I'm a, can I use the word whore? I'm a beer whore. I mean, I love beer.
Agnostic.
And I think, I think it's time of years. Summer times, you're going to find that the IPAs are a little bit hotter to drink. And then you get to these time of the winter months and your heavier beers or your more full body beers.
Porters.
Your dark beers, porters are probably more the hot things. So it just depends on the season.
I think IPAs are always hot.
If you're an IPA person, like we are an IPA people, it doesn't really matter. If you find a good IPA, I'm in.
If it's golden in front of you.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's good.
That's right.
Beer is good. Well, as a financial planner, obviously, I'm always try to bring the question back to something that's financial planning related. So, hot or not, having a business plan. Is that should an entrepreneur, for those of our guests listening that say, hey, I want to start a business, do you suggest that they have a business plan?
Have a plan.
Yes.
Have a plan.
So,
You might want to have a couple 3 plans.
Yeah. Plan A.
Because first plan doesn't always, there's adjustments. So have plan 2,
Have a
plan
plan B, yeah.
plan C. I'd have multiple plans.
Awesome. So having a business plan is hot. Let's continue with that. So I've got my plan. I'm listening to the show. I'm listening to Between Two Trains in my car, getting all this education from Tom and Shannon. And they say, get a plan. And then what? Is going out and borrowing money hot or not? Is having an equity partner hot or not? What would you suggest? they do next?
As far as the plan,
You don't have any partners, right? It's just you?
I do not have any partners, right? It's just me.
You want an equity partner?
Are you making an offer?
We can talk afterwards.
I think it depends on the business, is what you're trying to accomplish, whether or not you need an equity partner, as your words are saying, or if you want a partner that is more than just equity, is that person that is working alongside of you. That's bouncing your ideas or helping you share in the finances or helping you share in the heartaches as far as that
Now,
goes.
when you bought this, you borrowed money to do it. You didn't come out of pocket, did you?
Some out of pocket and some borrow, yeah.
So you made that decision. You said, okay, I'm going to come out of pocket with some, but I need to find some money. And you chose, instead of going and finding a partner to go in with you, you said, hey, I'm just going to do this on my own.
Just decided to do it on my own. I had a couple of great guys that were in my Bible class, and he put me in contact with some other guys. So basically, we went to a smaller bank. We
Sorry, Eric. They didn't come to Chase.
we went to a small mom and pop bank that was more interested in doing business with more small mom and pop businesses, if you will. So, and we had enough cash flow and enough equity and enough money in the bank where they were like, this sounds like a great fit. So that's how that happened. Yeah.
Was that a difficult process for you to go through that? You're opening up your books to them, right?
You're opening up everything to them. I mean, the only thing they didn't ask for was naked pictures, but otherwise that. I don't think buying the building was no more of a process than buying a home.
Okay.
You're showing the same books, you're doing the same things. So. Yeah.
I got a question. Y'all spend so much time in the restaurant. When y'all go home, the Food Network Guy Fieri shows, are those hot or are those not?
They're very hot.
They're very hot.
So
very hot.
Yes.
You don't have enough of food here at work.
No.
You go home, you watch
But
food
you learn a
shows.
lot on those.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
We've been on one of those shows.
I find them
Get
inspirational.
Delicious.
Get delicious.
Get delicious.
Jim Stacy, Get Delicious.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We need to get Atlanta Eats out here.
I've talked to her,
Yeah.
Skylar or something.
Yeah.
I sat and talked to her on
And
the
Steak
patio.
Shapiro and get
Uh-huh.
him out here and promote. Yeah. We'll see what we can do off show. So, Tom's making some gestures to me. We'll have to ask about that after we get off the show.
Right. Yeah.
So, now you had talked to me once years ago about, and I think you did implement, I'm not even sure if y'all still do it, the growlers. You still do growlers here, or you cut
that was
out?
one of the things that we spearheaded for the city of Chamblee, and I went out to several different surrounding cities to try to find out what they were doing, what they were allowing to happen. So I took the idea to the city of Chamblee to get the things rewritten for us, and lo and behold, it's all in the works. But growlers are not that hot. They're
not hot anymore.
They're not that hot.
Okay.
The thing is that
So they were a flash in the pan.
I think they were
if
a flash
you
in
go
the
to a
pan.
growler place, and
It's
that's
one
what you're
thing.
doing.
But see, people want to order them here, and then they want to drink them here, and you can't do that. You're supposed to seal it and take it home with you, right? And the thing is that in our business, there's a markup, and
Well, and we're
I
right
don't
next
know.
to a liquor store that they can go to.
I don't know how you really feel about going to a restaurant and paying $35 for a gallon of beer or a half a gallon of beer, when you can go next door to the
I would think
the beer
unless
shop.
it's like a brewery where you're getting something you're not going to get somewhere
That's
else.
correct.
Growler
That's
places,
correct.
You know what I mean?
That's correct. So growlers, I think they're dotted around the city. Very, very, very few of them are around anymore. It's not hot.
Not hot. All right. Well, I think I got one of your growlers sitting in my cabinet. You want it back?
Hopefully you drank it. It's not still full.
Oh, no, I drank it. I never brought it back. So. Well, we're almost out of time, but I wanted to talk just a little bit more. So I think most people know, Shannon, you're not just the manager here. You're actually dating Tom, correct?
Yes.
So you started working here. Y'all were not dating?
No, I started working for the Matai in '93.
93.
Yes, and we worked together for 25
So you
years.
were working for the previous owners.
Yes.
Before Tom bought.
And then he became, well, his brother was my manager.
Okay.
And then Tom became my manager. And then I've just worked together alongside him for a very long time. And then years later, and divorces happened, and we decided to give it a try.
So
It's been good.
the hot or not, the reason I lead up to that is the hot or not is about your employees and what you open up to them. We've had entrepreneurs on our show where we've asked them, we haven't asked them about relationships, but we've asked them about opening their books to their employees and showing them what they make. How much hot or not do you think an entrepreneur should divulge to their employees? This is a little bit different. It's not an office environment. You're dealing with servers. So
I think you just hit it right there. I think it's the environment makes a difference. I do share things with some of my employees,
Managers.
and managers. I let
obviously
them,
now you share
know.
a lot with your main.
Well, I mean, there's still this separate
books with Shannon before y'all started dating.
Oh yeah. There were things that I would share with people. I don't know that you want to say there was ever to anybody a full disclosure other than my accountant, right? But there are things that I share with people. When you want to look and see the U.S. food service bill, because a lot of people just assume that it magically appears and it's on a shelf and nobody paid cash for it, and there was never a check involved with it. But it's all, there's not anything that came through any door in this building that was for free. Everything's got a price tag to it. So you share that with the staff we've been using this word here lately, humanizing things a little bit. And I think if you kind of share that with the staff, I showed my electric bill to the guys that think leaving the back door propped open is a good thing. Right, so you share your electric bill at the end of the year or at the end of the month, and you've got this AC bill, and you get this bill from Georgia Power that's almost $3,000 for, and you're like, can you humanize this just a little bit and close the door? Can you not run the AC when you're doing this? Those types of
great
things.
advice for those who want to start a business, and I like the humanizing. I like that.
Well, yeah.
Well, we're at our 30 minutes, but I wanted to make sure we got one last question in. And, a lot of people ask, what are you going to do with the old Mad Italian building? Are you going to do something there? Or are you leaving that behind and moving on?
I wish we had longer than 30 minutes. I really do. This Thursday I'm going to court to the city of Chambly, talking to them about some variances for this new spot we're in. The basic idea for down the street at the old Mad Italian is we're going to do Duke's Burgers and Brews. It's always been a love of mine of wanting to do a burger place, and so we're gonna attempt to do that. With that said, I think this Thursday is really going to do a lot of things. Understanding what Chambly's going to come and tell us we can or cannot do here. This segment may need to go longer than 30 minutes, really. So
we'll probably have to do another episode. We'll do it for Duke. It's going to be called Duke's
Burgers and Brews.
I have a feeling there's a story behind that name, but we will save that for the next episode of Between Two Trains with Tom and Shannon. So, Eric, thank you for being my host. Any parting questions or words?
For all the listeners who haven't been here, I mentioned I have the Big Daddy once a month. That's a cheesesteak, and it's the supersized cheesesteak. I can't get enough of it.
Thank you.
It is excellent. So thank you all for carving out some time here and spending it with us. And if you haven't been out here, come on over to Savoy Drive.
Yeah.
Well, you've been listening to Between Two Trains with Tom and Shannon from Mad Italian. We appreciate you listening no matter where you listen, whether it's in your car, on your computer. Just tune us in, and you can go to betweentwotrains.com and listen to all the back episodes of all the great entrepreneurs. We will be with you again in 2 weeks for another edition of Between Two Trains. Thanks for listening.
Owning your own building, hot or not.
Yeah.
You know?
Ask him different days of the week.